Okay, so this will be a short video to get a visits counter and also something that lets us add 3 to every number. As you can see, I've already got a template here for the basics. It's got a root for visits and a root for adder as well. I've found my directory and I've run Python 3 and then the name of my Python script, and I've visited the page on localhost, or alternatively 127.0.0.1, which will also work because that's also the name of your own computer. I would like it to be able to keep track of how many times the person has visited the page. To do that, I will need a variable, and in particular, I'll need a global variable. I'm going to call this variable maybe number of visits. When you first load up your server, that should probably be set to 0, right? That's a sensible default, that before anyone has visited the site, we need to set it to be 0. Now, I can refer to that from within here. I can say, well, let's print the value of it. Let's print the value of number visits. And if I save, this will automatically reload. Excellent. And when I visit this page, it should run this function here and print number visits. If we look up here, currently it's set to 0. I haven't changed it. It's still at 0 value from the start. So I'll refresh, and sure enough, it prints 0. Good, so it seems to be working. I would like to be able to add 1 to this every time I visit the page. So I want to be able to calculate number visits plus 1. This will calculate, number of visits plus 1. Number of visits initially is 0. Add 1, so it'll calculate 1. But I won't store it anywhere. I want to store this back into number visits. I want to update the value of that variable. So I can say number visits equals number visits plus 1, and that will add 1 to that variable. There is a slightly complicated thing going on here, that I want to make sure that I'm referring to this number visits up here. This is actually outside the function that I'm working on at the moment. Yeah, I'm working in this function here, and I want to refer to this variable that I defined outside the function. This is called a global variable, so I can write global visits. Oh, sorry, not visits, it's called number visits, isn't it, is the name of that variable. And this says, from now on, when I refer to number visits in this function, I am referring to this global variable, rather than one that I've created within the function, which would be a local variable. I'm going to press refresh now, and hopefully it'll add 1 to that number of visits and then print it. Add 1. Good, it prints 1 to the terminal. Remember, using print won't print it to the page, it'll print it to the terminal. And press again, hopefully it'll calculate 1 plus 1 again, which is 2, and save that. Woohoo, it seems to work. So that's awesome. It'd be nice to print that on the page. To do that, I'm going to use render template, visits.html. I need to pass this variable in there, so I'll do number visits, number visits equals number visits. There's a little bit of a wrapping, there you go, line wrapping going on there. I've got this visits.html page over here, which has nothing in it. So if I refresh the page, sure enough, there'll be nothing in it. I'll say, oh, hello, save this, refresh the page, and it'll say hello. I can actually access this variable now that I've passed it into the template. So under visits, I'm going to do hello, let's just do number visits. Remember, this is how many times anyone has visited the site. Refresh, there you go, 3, cool. And every time it adds 1. To make it a bit more user-friendly, we can say you have visited number of visits times. Smiley face. Save. Fresh. There you go. Beautiful. There is another thing that we'll look at, which is handy to do, which is, you might want to have maybe a navigation bar and some other parts of your site to make it look pretty. To do that, I'm going to make a new file here, and I'm just going to set up the template for my site. I'm going to say, it's got HTML tags in it, it's got a head tag, maybe the title of my website, which could be, this is going to be a pugsite, all about pugs. The body of the site, maybe a nice big heading that says pugsite, And maybe also a link to the visits page. There you go. So this is where you want to send them, and this is what text you want to display. I'm going to call this template maybe base.html, because this is going to be a base upon which all my other files will be made. And then in here is the body. Well, hang on, what's that? That means that this can be replaced by any other page. So it lets me fill in contents in here. So in the visits page then, I can say this takes a template and it kind of extends it. So extends base.html. I think this needs to be in quotes. And this is part of the body. I want to replace the body with, there you go, my end block. There we go. I want to replace the body with this. This may or may not work because I haven't really tried this much before. There we go. So now what it does is it gets this template for a page, which I can then use on all the other pages of my website. So they'll all be nice and consistent and save me a lot of work doing all this boring boilerplate. And just insert this bit into the body. Yeah, so this page is based on base.html. I guess all my other pages will be based on base.html as well. You might notice I did make a little mistake here. That should actually be a H1. Yeah, and hopefully this visits page, whoops, visits page, I redirect to visits.html, but the actual path is only visits. How silly of me. So I'd better change that so that this redirects to /visits is the name of the URL. Visits.html actually isn't, there isn't a route that goes for visits.html. There's only visits and adder so far. So if I refresh, oops, not refresh, maybe I'll go back to visits. There we go. And then this should, yeah, there you go. This is just a link that takes us back to the same page. Excellent. So see how you go, and I'll see you in the next video.